This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I thought there was going to be like a new one every break. I was so excited.
You want more, Hal? We'll give you more. Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. Hoo-yah!
Welcome back. Now, why, oh why, for Republicans, is this one of the most crucial elections that they, in their existence? One is, if they lose this one, we're talking about decades of loss in the future. And I got news for you, too. They're not getting the Senate, and they're not getting the House. I'm just telling you. There will be some turnover seats, but not enough to make a difference. And the vast majority of their effort has been in making red districts MAGA districts. Now, many people have heard me talk about the fact that while we adore AOC and we appreciate her as a congressperson, her win in her district, while hard fought and she went door to door, did it the old fashioned way, simply turned a blue district bluer. The content of vote coming out of that district, as far as representing the people of that district, did not fundamentally change. As a spokesperson for some things, she may have been a louder voice on those things, but on a material level, vote for vote, almost nothing shifted for that Congress space, okay? And so one of the reasons why she had to go door to door to do it, and why it had to be such a personal impact in that, and why the DNC didn't necessarily help, was because why spend money attacking your own? But also, if she can win on the merits, fine. Knock yourself out. That's a primary amongst Democrats. There's no money that need be spent necessarily in that area. The same thing is true of Republican districts this time around. The biggest difference is, though, is that Trump, because he has this giant grudge against the rhinos, which he has he's so angry at these people for just saying that Jan 6 was his fault, and he was absolutely, he absolutely lost, and there was no fraud. Like, that's enough. So he is going after sitting Republicans with more ferocity and more focus than any Democrat in the country.
So crazy.
He is literally, even in the case where he's got a Republican running against a Democrat, he is more focused on taking out the other Republican that was running for that seat in the primary because it was Mitch McConnell's pick. At the same time, he has not dropped the idea that it was a rigged election and nothing has really changed. So it is hard to imagine why the maggots of the world will come out in mass to support these candidates if they believe, like Mastriano in Ohio is saying, that it is rigged already and it's going to be stolen by the Democrats anyways. And they have to vote on that one day. So Democrats all over the country are voting early, and they're either mailing in their ballot or they're going into early voting places. Many will show up on the day, but fewer than Republicans, game to game. If you're talking 50 people of each, and there are not 50 of each, by the way, the reason why the Republicans are touting certain areas, what they call competitive districts, and a rise in a percentage rise in new Republicans, is because the number is so small there that the percentage seems enormous by comparison.
Right, yeah.
So they'll talk, again, you'll never hear the base number from them. You'll only hear the percentage. So the idea that all these Republicans who are being told vote on the day will actually show up to, sorry, Pennsylvania. You're right, Eric. I beg your pardon. Not Ohio. Mastriano is in Pennsylvania. He's the one claiming that it's already rigged, because he's going to lose. So that's just the Trump game plan. It worked for Trump in 2020. He raised money off of it for 2 years. He's been paying his bills with that lie this entire time. So Mastriano's hoping to write a book and join, the Trump media group or whatever after this. So it is hard to express the how badly the Republican get out the vote is going right now. Because you've got their main political driver, the person that they said brought people to the polls like never before, the most exciting candidate that Republicans have ever had, who could fill a stadium with 65,000 people in 2016 and even in 2020 a couple of times, who is now in 4,000 seat arenas that are half full, where he's supposed to be introducing the candidate that is running, letting them give a speech, and then, saying vote for them, like Obama is doing right now, like Biden and Harris are doing right now, like every normal person does. Instead, he goes up, does the same 2-hour QAnon stump speech, blathers on and on about his gripes about, they're attacking me, but only because they're attacking you, because you're the one who said grab them by the P word, not me, right? You're the one that had their ex-wife cremated and yet buried a very heavy coffin on a golf course, not me. Anyways, so 2 hours of this nonsense, like each one of them is like an hour and 40 minutes long. It's ridiculous. And all during it, the main message is elections were rigged and stolen. This one's going to be rigged and stolen. They're good at this. They win because they cheat. And that's that. Why in the world, and also he opens with and ends with this big QAnon musical where he talks about how the country is in decline. It's a hellscape. Now, you can talk about rising crime in this country and how it needs to be handled, and how, as I've said many times before, the rise in incarceration rates in the United States was not directly related to the crime bill. Period. End of story. It was related to VICAP, the Violent Offender Apprehension Program, and the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, and the fingerprint. The federal fingerprint system going online from 1993 to 1999. So you could no longer crime in one state and use a different name in another state, just end up in state jail or skate because they don't have a record and they're asking for somebody named, Fred Bundle, not Ted Bundy, right? And you could go, my name's Fred Bundle. And like they got a little scratched out. They don't have a picture ID. All the things that changed from 1985 to 1999. That's what did it. That and the fact that prisoners in the United States live their entire sentences. Unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer, you don't die early. Most of them, right, are grow old and pass away. One of the oldest inmates in American history died, I think, 2 weeks ago I want to say he was 91.
Right.
So that's why. Not because of the crime bill. I know people like to say that because they associate it with the time period. VICAP and the fingerprint system is why. Okay, and right now, what you're gonna see is a call, and you're already seeing it in cities and in governors' offices all over the place to get more people, keep people from being paroled for violent crime, holding them in there longer. That's coming back, and it will. That's a conversation worth having. It's valuable because criminals often victimize people who look like them. Criminals victimize the people in their own communities more than anywhere else. One thing about criminals is the vast majority of them pretty lazy. If they're looking for somebody to assault, murder, or steal from, they don't travel great distances most of the time. So communities themselves are going to be pushing back against this. That said, we got to take a break, and hopefully Philip Bittner will be able to join us in the next hour. Trump's idea that the whole country is falling apart is not borne out by the number of people, his own followers, going to football games over the last 2 weeks. That's the cognitive dissonance he has to deal with. We'll be back after this.